Hi friends, please close your eyes for a moment. Online students, please confirm you can see me and hear me. Thank you. So, we'll move on instead of a quick revision, except for a couple of quick questions that I'll put to you. What all we have covered in the last lecture? Pattern variables and? Merton में क्या? Criticisms of classical functionalism. That's it. Manifest and latent functions also we've done. Okay. So, what are the 5 pattern variables, brother? Just list them. Huh. Ascriptive versus achievement. It is also known as? नहीं बताया. Quality versus performance. The first pattern variable, ascription versus achievement, is also referred to as quality versus performance. Quality in the sense something which is intrinsic or innate or ascriptive. Okay? And performance referring to achievement. Make note if you haven't, you also. The first dilemma, which is ascription versus achievement, is also referred to as quality versus performance. Continue. Diffuse versus specific. Universalism versus particularism. Affective versus affective neutrality. And collectivity versus self-orientation. Wonderful. ठीक है. Then quickly क्या पढ़ा था अगला? हाँ, what are the 3 postulates of classical functionalism that Merton challenges? Just state them. Postulate of universal functionalism. Postulate of functional unity and the postulate of indispensability. Wonderful. ठीक है. And who are the classical functional social anthropologists whom he attacks? Malinowski and Radcliffe, as in Daniel Radcliffe? No. A.R. Radcliffe Brown. ठीक है. Then we had discussed manifest and latent functions. So, tell me, brother, the manifest functions of India-Pakistan cricket match. For the spectators, why do we watch? Fun. ठीक है. So fun is the manifest function of an India-Pakistan cricket match. What's the latent function of an India-Pakistan cricket match? Yes? हर चीज में वो प्रोड्यूस हो जाती है. Collective effervescence and reinforces social solidarity. Wonderful. What are the manifest dysfunctions of an India-Pakistan cricket match? Manifest dysfunctions. Something very obvious to the participants, the spectators. Brother?
Politicization of sports.
Beti?
Harms the brotherhood.
Brotherhood harming.
Jingoism.
Jingoism, similar.
Hostility towards
Hostility towards
people of different
each other's peoples.
Violence.
Hooliganism, vandalism, public property being destroyed. जिसकी भी टीम हारती है, they would engage in that. Latent dysfunctions of an India-Pakistan cricket match. Yeah? Sorry? Hatred towards religion of the others. It fosters some sort of a communal animosity, he's suggesting. Betting, bilkul. Hyper nationalism, bilkul. Dividing people globally, है ना? ठीक है. ठीक है. Now, have we also discussed some limitations or criticisms of these concepts of manifest and latent functions? तो लिख लो. I'm being asked to repeat the another name for ascription versus achievement. It is quality versus performance. Quality versus performance. Give me, brother, in yellow, tell me another name for the affective versus affectively neutral. Dilemma. Affectivity versus, brother. Immediate gratification versus deferred gratification. ठीक है. हाँ, तो where were we? Limitations, criticisms of manifest and latent functions के जो concepts हैं. हमने इनकी तारीफ लिख ली थी कि बहुत ही काम की चीज है. हाँ. Now one criticism, friends, Merton suggests कि भैया manifest functions are subjective dispositions and latent are objective. But are the latent functions really objective? Problem is, like we were discussing now, say for an India-Pakistan cricket match, what may be manifest for one researcher may be regarded as latent by another. Are you with me? So there is an element of subjectivity there also. We can't have a consensus or clarity as to what is manifest function and which is latent function. ठीक है? One is that. लिख लो. कि he considers that latent functions are objective. This thing, consequences. But that may also, the assessment of what are latent functions and which are manifest may also vary from researcher to researcher. Secondly, friends, if you use his concept of latent functions, you carry it to an extreme. That can be used to justify any perversion. When we say it challenges our notions of morality, you can literally find out latent functions for anything. Something as perverse as, say, child abuse or child porn. Yeah? So that can be deemed as a justification for, we did it till prostitution and we drew a line there. But what's stopping you? हर चीज के फायदे मिल जाएंगे. Yes or no? Yeah, I'll write it down. If we begin identifying the latent functions of morally condemned arrangements, then that can be taken too far to justify almost anything. It might leave a bad taste in the mouth, but do you want to identify some latent functions of child abuse? Would you like to do that? कई फायदे हो सकते हैं क्या? फंक्शंस क्या है? डिसफंक्शंस तो है ही है, पता ही है समाज को, तभी तो इतनी हम घृणा से देखते हैं उस चीज को. राइटली सो. यस, definitely they are deriving pleasure out of it, है ना? So it is satisfying the sexual needs, meeting the fantasies of the abuser. साफ बात है. बच्चों के लिए फायदे, उनको सेक्सुअल एक्सपोजर मिल रहा है एट अ यंग एज. ठीक है, and so on and so forth. So point is, we can take it to no extent, right? So let's not go there. Better to draw a line there. Another criticism is that Merton did not really come up with anything new when he gave these concepts of manifest and latent functions. These have been around in sociological analysis since long before Merton. You know, there is this theory by Veblen, Veblen, I think that's how you spell it. Okay, he gave a theory of the leisure class. Leisure class matlab rich people, those who have a lot of leisure time on their hands. And he said, why do rich people purchase expensive things like, you know, say cars? Okay, so why does one purchase a car? What's the stated need which it fulfills, or the stated reason why one purchases a car? Yeah, for transportation, fulfilling, satisfying one's transport needs that you need to, you know, reach in time between one place and another. Thank you, beta. But what is the actual reason why we buy a car? An expensive one. It's a status enhancer. It's a status symbol. Yes or no? So I buy a car so that I can make you feel that you are pedal. Yes or no? So these are what? These are the manifest and latent functions of buying a car. Are you with me? And Veblen wrote much before, क्या नाम है तुम्हारा, Merton. Veblen. And Durkheim, you know, when he discusses totemism, okay, what is the manifest function of the rituals? And what is the latent function? Solidarity, effervescence, etc. These are the latent. So without using these phrases, you know, they are really talking about the same things. Okay, so Merton ने कोई खास नया योगदान दिया नहीं है. ठीक है, चलिए. Theory of the leisure class. Leisure class. अब चलते हैं to today's agenda. Which is, we are continuing with Merton, his theory of reference group. Very simple. We'll keep it that way. And first I will explain, then I will also dictate. ठीक? What do you mean by reference group? सबसे पहली बात तो, you may have observed that all human beings live in groups. Wonderful. We always live in groups. We don't live in isolation, right? We need company, human company. So we always live in groups. Now when we live in groups, or in our social lives, we are a part of how many groups? Many groups. Wonderful. We are a part of many groups, such as you are a part of this class, or your family, or your friend circle, your religious community, your caste community, etc., etc., etc. अब बहुत सारे groups के members हो. Now, these groups to which we belong, okay, they greatly affect our behavior. To a very good extent, they shape our behavior, and not just our behavior, our personalities also are shaped by these groups to which we belong. ठीक है? So, in any group, the group will expect something from its members. ठीक? The group expects the same thing from all members or different things from the different members? बताओ. Different या same? Different things. For example, your family is a group. Family as a unit expects something different from the father figure, the adult male, something different from the mother figure. Father से क्या expectation है? That he will earn a livelihood, go out and offer protection and a roof over the head, etc. Mother figure से क्या expectation है group की? Roti poengi and raise the children and लाड़ प्यार and whatever the works. Yeah? घर की सफाई धुलाई etc. बच्चों की निलाई धुलाई पढ़ाई etc. बच्चों से क्या expectation है? What is the expectation of the group from the younger ones? That they obey the parents, that they study, like say in typical middle class households like yours and mine. Yeah? That they study, they're obedient, they don't get into bad company, and so on and so forth. ठीक? So the group would expect different things from different members. These different members of a group, they try to do what? They try to live up to these expectations. We try to live up to the expectations of these groups of which we are a member. So we do mostly as per the expectations of these groups to which we belong. Yes or no? Do we mostly live like that or no? Why? Why don't we do our own thing? हम क्यों चलते हैं? Don't throw phrases at me, norms, and you make sense of the rest of it. Why do we, why don't we assert our individuality for God's sake? Yes, we want to be accepted, and we also want to be liked. We want to be loved. We want validation. We want to be told कि मेरा अच्छा बच्चा है. That's what we all, yearn to hear from our families. Yes or no? We are no different from those doggies really, who want a petting, ki good boy. We all want that. And irrespective of age or stature within the group, we all want validation from these groups of which we are members. That is why we try to mold our conduct as per the expectations of these groups of which we are a member. So I want to be continuously told that you're a good son, that you're a good husband, that you're a good teacher, that you're a good friend. So I'll try to live up to the expectations of my friend circle. I'll try to live up to the expectations of my students. I'll try to live up to the expectations of my family. इसी में सारी जिंदगी बीत जाती है. ठीक है? So these groups of which we are members, we refer to them to evaluate our own conduct, to evaluate ourselves, our performance. Yes or no? So we use these groups as a benchmark or as a reference point. So these groups are known as reference groups. Clear? Reference group क्या है? Any social group to which which the individual uses as a reference point or as a benchmark, as a standard to evaluate his or her own conduct or behavior or actions or achievements. So we internalize the norms and values of these groups of which we are members. And then we try to live up to their expectations. So इनको हम क्या बोलते हैं? Reference groups. Clear? Simple? तो लिख लो. The term reference group was coined by Herbert Hyman. And the concept was further developed by Muzaffar Sharif and R.K. Merton. ठीक? The term was coined by Herbert Hyman and the concept was further developed by Muzaffar Sharif and R.K. Merton. The term reference group refers to any social group that the individual uses for shaping and evaluating his own feelings, actions, and attitudes. Full stop. Thus, any social group excuse me, that one uses as a standard or as a frame of reference in order to shape one's own behavior, actions, and achievements is a reference group. ठीक है? Next para. Human beings always live in groups. Full stop. The groups to which we belong in bracket known as the groups to which we belong known as membership groups bracket close affect our conduct greatly. Full stop. Groups expect something from their members. Full stop. The group's members act accordingly. The group's members act accordingly because they seek the group's approval. ठीक? Full stop. Therefore, the group's members evaluate their conduct with reference to the norms and values of the group. ठीक? Full stop. Thus, the groups to which we belong यानी membership groups serve as reference groups. ठीक है? And some of you have this expression, ये भी कोई बताने की बात है. Yeah? You're right there. It is something so intuitive and obvious that, why should it require explicitly being stated or developed in the form of theory? ये आम बात है ना? तो अब करते हैं थोड़ी खास बात. खास बात क्या है कि I'll dictate, but before that let us try to understand. खास बात क्या है that it is not just our membership groups which affect our behavior. It is not only the reference group, membership groups which we refer to kind of or adopt their norms and values. Oftentimes, individuals also adopt the norms and values of non-membership groups or those groups to which we do not belong. Even those groups to which we don't belong, they also greatly shape our conduct. But why should that be? I mean, what's to me? If I'm not a part of a particular group, why should I even care for its existence and, forget that group shaping my conduct? But does it? For all of us. Are we affected by the norms and values, the lifestyle of those groups of which we are not members? Absolutely. For example, you guys are civil service aspirants. For a lot of civil service aspirants, civil services officers, those already in service, are a reference group. Is that a membership group which is your reference group or a non-membership group? It's a non-membership reference group. अभी आप अफसर तो बने नहीं हो, but you are profoundly affected by the norms and values, the expectations, the lifestyle of that non-membership reference group. For a lot of civil service aspirants, existing or in service civil servants would be a non-membership reference group. So you try to mold your conduct as per the standards of that group of which you are not a member. So if you know कि वो लोग बहुत मेहनत करते हैं, you also start doing putting in a lot of effort, hard work. If you've heard or known that they take academics very seriously, then so you also start doing. Yes or no? If you get to know they do pranayam, then you also start doing pranayam, and so on and so forth. You try to adopt the lifestyle, the norms, etc. of that group of which you are not a member. or say we've all passed through school and college. During our college years, also in school years, we have a membership group, a circle of friends whom we hang out with, right? In every recess or break, right? We guys hang out together, 5, 6, 8 people. And then there is another group in college of which we are not a member, but somewhat we are attracted to. Yes or no? So oftentimes we also imitate their lifestyle choices, their behavior, their standards we adopt. Yes or no? Are you with me? For example, see, these other groups are oftentimes, very aspirational. Meaning they attract us and we want to join them. Are you with me? Say in school or college, typically, there would be a difference like our membership group, our circle of friends would be typically, having all members of the same sex. And that aspirational group has both boys and girls. And you're like, wow, यार, उसमें तो लड़के लड़कियां दोनों हैं. हम यहाँ पे लड़के लड़के ही घूमते रहते हैं, लड़कियां लड़कियां घूमते रहते हैं. Yes. Typically, say our membership group, we talk in our native language. And that aspirational non-membership reference group, they talk in English. Yes or no? They listen to rock music. We listen to Bhangra, Punjabi, or Honey Singh, or Altaf Raja. Yes or no? So there's a great difference in the lifestyle, the norms of these two groups. But when we are profoundly affected by them, we start trying to mold our behavior as per the norms of that non-membership group. Okay? So, for example, what will we say if we are, affected by that other college group? आज से हिंदी बंद, हम लोग भी अब बस इंग्लिश में बात करेंगे, right? We'll also try to be comfortable and casually talk to the opposite sex. क्या है, इतनी बड़ी क्या बात है, वो लोग भी तो कर ही लेते हैं, हम भी कर लेंगे. Yes or no? This is known as anticipatory socialization. In anticipation of joining that group, you are learning or socializing yourself or picking up or learning their way of life, their norms, their values. Okay? So this is known as anticipatory socialization. Clear? तो लिख लो. Next para. Many times, several social groups of which one is not a member, bracket में, known as non-membership groups, may also greatly affect the individual's behavior. Full stop. The individual may want to join that group or may want to become more like them. Full stop. In other words, non-membership groups may also serve as a reference group. ठीक है? अब सब हेडिंग दीजिए एंटिसिपेटरी सोशलाइजेशन. Dash. Anticipatory socialization refers to the social process of preparing oneself for entry into a group of which one is not a member I repeat, anticipatory socialization refers to the social process of preparing oneself for entry into a group of which one is not a member but which one aspires to join. By adopting its norms, values and lifestyle. ठीक है? Full stop. Next para. And you tell me before we write, anticipatory socialization, is it beneficial or functional for the individual concerned or harmful or dysfunctional? Functional in what sense? Why do you say whoever says it's functional? Why is it functional? और क्या फायदा है anticipatory socialization करने का? Brother? Grow. You'll grow anyways, like grow as in acquire new skills or become better. You're suggesting it helps you become better. It pushes the individual to enhance his capabilities. Brother? Absolutely correct. Which is membership of that non-membership reference group. Betty? Had you raised your hand? Yeah? When they achieve the membership. ठीक है. Yes? ठीक है. So we have some sort of a template before us regarding how to conduct ourselves. है ना? Or it's like a guideline, it's a framework for action. Guide to action. ठीक है. Great. So, लिखो. Anticipatory socialization may be functional for the individual undergoing it because it enhances his chances of getting entry into the non-membership reference group. Develop some shorthand, guys, NMRG, otherwise it will take you like a whole year to write this phrase. Because it enhances his chances of getting entry into the non-membership reference group. Right? So if you start adopting the lifestyle, the work ethic of a civil servant, you are more likely to clear the exam and become one of them. Yes or no? If you start speaking in English vis-a-vis that college group situation that we had developed, you are more likely to be accepted by them. Yes or no? So it increases your chances of getting entry into that non-membership reference group. Full stop. Anticipatory socialization is also functional. Likho to. Is also functional for the individual because it will ease his adjustment in the group. It will ease his adjustment in the group after he has joined it. Are you with me? So one thing is it helps you in joining the group, and once you have joined it, then also you will feel more at home. Say if you are, also listening to the same kind of music as the other guys, you'll have something to talk about, and yes or no? You won't feel left out of their conversations, etc. Right? So it also helps or eases your adjustment in that group once you have joined it. However, can it be also dysfunctional, friends? Why? If he's saying, if I am influenced by negative people, like say, lot of in schools and colleges we also pick up smoking. All these wonderful habits we pick up in college life mostly, smoking and partying, if that can be termed as negative, and alcohol consumption, और आजकल तो सुना है drugs वगैरह भी खूब चलते हैं. So all these wonderful habits, is that a negative this thing? See, that's a moral judgment we are passing. Okay, so you are evaluating in terms of, let me just set the record straight on this point. For example, if I am attracted to a group of boys who are like smoking, a lot of young boys, when you are young, you are influenced by these bhaiyas, and bhaiyas are like very macho and very attractive, with like coarseness of skin and dadi and whatnot, which the boys don't have, right? And then bhaiya also smokes, and bhaiya is like rugged, and this group of bhaiyas are there, and we want to be like them, so we also do what? We also take up smoking. Ki bhaiya mujhe bhi kara do smoking, and we also do smoking, So is that and we might undergo anticipatory socialization. And then bhaiya will take us under his wings. Okay, bhaiya or the gang of bhaiyas. They will take us under their wings, so they will say, chal tu bhi aaja, and chal ja tu leke aa, ye le packet leke aa, and all of that. They'll make us feel grown up. Right? So is that, and that helps us join that group of bhaiyas. We become one of them. So is that functional or dysfunctional? Functional. Don't sit in moral judgment कि ये तो गलत काम है, सिगरेट पीना या शराब पीना या कुछ भी करना. ठीक है? Functional in the sense it is helping the individual achieve what he wants to achieve, which is to join that group. Alright? So to that extent it is seen as functional. As we proceed, we'll later talk about this something called positive reference groups and negative reference groups. This group of bhaiyas from which we learn smoking and alcohol consumption, these are a positive reference group. These are not a negative reference group. These are a positive reference group because we wish to join them. We wish to be like them. Okay, so we use these groups to form our norms or what we have to do. We imitate them. We matlab the individual concerned. So they are a positive reference group. Negative reference groups are those which we don't want to become like, or which we don't want to join. So for this individual who is very enamored by bhaiyas, the class toppers may be a negative reference group. Are you with me? Bloody nerds, chashmish, and this or that, right? So for this individual, the class toppers are a negative reference group. For another person, the class toppers may be a positive reference group. They wish to join or become one of them or like them. While the bhaiyas may be a negative reference group. समझ गए? तो ये होता है. तो anticipatory socialization, if it helps the individual achieve what he seeks out to, it is functional. ठीक? But it can also be dysfunctional for the individual concerned. How? Simply, गारंटी है क्या कि वो आपको ज्वाइन करने देंगे? नहीं है. क्या गारंटी है? देयर इज नो गारंटी. हाँ, no matter how much English you start speaking, no matter how much rock music you start listening to, is there any guarantee that they will consider you one of their own? दिल से घर जाके अल्ताफ राजा सुनता होगा. ठीक है. And this whole process, it might alienate you from your membership group. So the norms, the expectations of your membership group and that of the non-membership reference group may clash with each other. Are you with me? So your membership group, what will they say? तू बहुत अंग्रेज हो रहा है, तो उन्हीं के साथ घूम यार, है ना? समझो, you are not one of us anymore. वो भी हिंदी में ही बोलेंगे ये. ठीक है? Are you with me? In other words, you may end up as a marginal man. Meaning what? धोबी का, ना घर का, ना घाट का. ठीक है? That you have not been able to join the group which you aspired to join, and you have also become cut off from the group of which you were a member. ठीक? तो इसको लिख लो. क्या लिखा है लास्ट? However, anticipatory socialization may be dysfunctional for the individual if the norms and values of one's membership group clash with those of the क्या? नॉन मेंबरशिप रेफरेंस ग्रुप, NMRG. ठीक है? Full stop. In such cases, the individual may get alienated from his membership group while he is still to be accepted by his non-membership reference group. Thus ending up as a marginal man. ठीक. Now we'll discuss a related concept related to this reference group theory. It's called relative deprivation. Give a subheading to this effect. Relative deprivation. I'll dictate, but first let me explain briefly. What is relative deprivation, friends? It simply means that we feel deprived in relative terms. Meaning what? Only when we compare our situation with others or relative to others. It's not so much with, our absolute conditions don't matter so much. What matters is how we feel when we compare ourselves with others. For example, anybody will volunteer, like just ask a simple question or two. Anybody raise your hand? Which car do you have? Which mode of transport do you use? Metro. Okay, fine. Or at home, do you have any car? Which? Creta. Okay, so we have an individual who owns a Creta car, which say hypothetically is for 10 lakh rupees. Okay. Now, is it a good enough car? Are you satisfied with it, or do you feel deprived? Now, good enough is a relative term. How he feels owning a Creta will depend on who he is comparing himself with. So if he compares himself with those persons who own a car worth, say 20 odd lakhs, he will feel relative deprivation or relatively worse off. If he compares himself with people who are in a Lamborghini or something, he will feel far more sense of deprivation. Are you with me? And if he compares himself with somebody who is in a second-hand car of 3 lakh rupees, he will feel a relative sense of satisfaction. Zahir baat hai. Yes or no? If he compares himself with a person who is using public transport and doesn't own a car, he'll feel a greater sense of relative satisfaction. Saaf baat hai. Are you with me? And he compares himself with somebody who's using 11 number ki gaadi, which is our legs. He'll feel far greater satisfaction. So how we feel, whether we feel deprived, whether we feel satisfied with what we have, depends on who we are comparing ourselves with, or depends on who is the reference group. Are you with me? Now, how many of us here? This is clear, right? So it's basically comparative. A sense of satisfaction or dissatisfaction is relative, depending whom we compare ourselves with. Now tell me, friends, how many of us here own a yacht or a ship or a helicopter? Do you feel relative deprivation? कि यार helicopter भी नहीं है. Did that thought cross your mind? No. Why? That's something you don't have, but you've not felt deprived of that. Why? Have you felt deprived of, say, a fancier phone, a fancier mobile phone, or a slightly more expensive car than what you presently have, mode of transport? Why not a helicopter? क्या problem है? Huh? Sorry? Reference group में किसी के पास नहीं है. And who is our? So we don't compare ourselves with the Ambanis and the Tatas. Whom do we compare ourselves with? Huh? Relatives. Cousins. Yes or no? हम दोनों ने साथ में इंजीनियरिंग करी थी, उसका 8 lakhs का पैकेज है, मैं घर से पैसे ले रहा हूं. That is relative deprivation. So we compare ourselves with whom we consider a comparison is reasonable. Are you with me? We compare with our neighbors. उनके घर में नया सोफा आ गया, हमारे घर में 15 साल पुराना है. We compare with our cousins. We compare with the people we have gone to school and college with. So there is some sort of a commonality, common ground with the people whom we set to compare ourselves against. Yes or no? लिख लो. The concept of relative deprivation was developed by Samuel Stouffer in his study titled The American Soldier. By Samuel Stouffer in his study titled The American Soldier. Full stop. Relative deprivation means that individuals see themselves as deprived or privileged by comparing their own situation with that of other groups of people. ठीक? Full stop. Stouffer's study found that married American soldiers experienced relative deprivation, या felt relatively deprived when they compared their own situation with who? You tell me. When they felt deprived when they compared themselves to unmarried American soldiers or married American civilians. They felt deprived, relative deprivation, when they compared to their unmarried soldiers or married civilian. Likho. When they compared their situation with both unmarried soldiers and married civilians. Why they felt deprived? On different parameters. So when they compared themselves with unmarried soldiers, they felt that the unmarried soldiers have it easy. They can afford a carefree lifestyle. They are not encumbered by responsibilities that come with marriage and maintaining a family that we married soldiers are. Are you with me? So they can be carefree, they can be, they have greater simply freedom in all ways. Right? When they compared themselves with the married civilian friends, they felt again relative deprivation because they thought that we have to make greater sacrifices, staying away from our families. So we can't enjoy a healthy, normal family life, बीवी बच्चों का सुख, that a civilian married friends can. Are you with me? So they felt relative deprivation on both counts. ठीक है, आगे लिखिए, एक सेंटेंस लिखिए in quotation marks. A house may be big or small. Full stop. As long as nearby houses are likewise, are similar, one's house is adequate for all of one's needs. Full stop. However, let there arise a bigger house in front of this modest house, and the modest house shrinks to a hut. The modest house shrinks to a hut. Quotation marks closed. You understand the meaning? So if my house, whatever size it is, right? If my neighboring houses are similar, then it feels that it is sufficient for, whatever I need. I don't feel any sort of deprivation or kami. But if the neighbor's house is bigger than mine, right, that is when it pinches. Then I feel that my modest house, it shrinks to a hut literally, or it feels very, very inadequate to meet my requirements. In other words, this is what we are explaining here. Relative deprivation. The deprivation, that sense of inadequacy is relative. Only when we compare ourselves with others do we feel advantaged or disadvantaged. किसने बोला ये? श्रीकाल Marx. This quotation that you've written is attributed to Shrikal Marx. According to Ransi Man, this fellow, there are 4 necessary and sufficient conditions for a person A to feel relative deprivation for an object X. किसी व्यक्ति को किसी वस्तु का अभाव कब होगा? When will a person experience relative deprivation vis-a-vis a particular thing or object? Logically think and tell me. You will those 4 conditions possibly we can easily deduce using basic logic. Beti? We get exposed to it through some reference group. Okay. Helicopter में कभी बैठे ही नहीं हम, तो हमें उसकी कमी क्यों महसूस होगी, है ना? You want to be like them. It's in our proximity. All of that is fine. First and most basic of conditions, which none of you are mentioning, please write down. A does not have X उसके पास होनी नहीं चाहिए, तभी तो उस चीज का अभाव होगा. A does not have X. B, second condition. A wants to have X. So एक basic interest या inclination होना चाहिए उस तरफ. Third, A knows another person, B, who has X. A knows another person, B, who has X. And fourth, should A, you tell me, लिखो नहीं ना, सुन भी तो लो. Should, in A's perception, should X be within his reach or beyond his reach? Within his reach or beyond his reach? We are a divided house. लिखो. A considers that, fourth condition, A considers that obtaining X is realistically possible. तुम्हें लगना चाहिए कि यार मेरे पास ये हो सकता है, तो मेरे पास क्यों नहीं है? Are you with me? If it's beyond your reach, you will stop aspiring for it. So you need to feel that it is a realistic aim to want to have X. ठीक है? So this is relative deprivation. Next subheading, reference group selection process. Reference group selection process. नाउ थोड़ी सी मीठी मीठी बातें करेंगे, उसके बाद हम लिखेंगे. ठीक है? टेल मी फ्रेंड्स, selecting reference groups, is it a simple process or is it a complex process? Both. Simple for family में what's there to choose? और नॉन मेंबरशिप रेफरेंस ग्रुप्स चूज करना इज सिंपल और कॉम्प्लेक्स? ओके, टेल मी फर्स्टली, द रेफरेंस ग्रुप्स दैट अ पर्सन हैज, ओके, or what you have had, okay, does it remain the same throughout one's life or does it change? Change. Can anybody share, like, what were your reference groups in childhood and who are now? Any, pehle I used to aspire to join this or that and now I aspire to join another. Anybody? Or I'm influenced by, if not aspire to join. Anybody who's given up a reference group which earlier was one for them? Brother? पहले डायनासोर. ओके, हाँ, अब इंसान बनना है. ठीक है. ओके, सो दैट्स अ मेजर स्टेप फॉरवर्ड. हाँ, ठीक है. So you've given up on that zero figure kind of a reference group, and any new ones you've adopted in place? ठीक है, ठीक है, गुड. और बताइए ब्रदर. कौन हो गए अब फिर? कौन? कॉलिंस? डेविड? कौन है? अच्छा, इंड्योरेंस एथलीट. ठीक है. एंड जस्ट टू क्लैरिफाई, डेविड लॉगिन्स, कॉगिन्स, डेविड. डेविड. सो Please, just to clarify, this brings forth an important point. David, okay, for him, is not a reference group. Why? Because he's not a group. He's an individual. And when you have one person that you look up to, we call that person a role model. A reference group is a group. Okay? So just to clarify that. So reference group is simply the group equivalent of a role model. When you aspire or you look up to a single person, that's a role model. When you look, so Sachin Tendulkar may be my role model. Cricketers are for me a reference group. Modi may be my role model. Politicians are for me a reference group. Are you with me? Or brilliant scientists may be my reference group. Albert Einstein may be my role model. Okay? So thanks for bringing this up inadvertently. You know? So point is, reference groups change. Right? So at different stages of our life, we may, or an individual may, frequently does adopt different reference groups. पहली बात. दूसरी बात, at any given point of time in your life, say now, today, do you have one reference groups or multiple reference groups? Multiple? Somebody volunteer? Who are your reference groups presently? Raise your hand and say. Yes? हाथ उठा के बोलिए. Yeah? Online gaming friends are your reference group. Any other? Your classmates are another reference group, or family members possibly, or civil servants possibly. Why should I be, thoping on him? Yeah. Outside friends. Okay. Or gliding group. Riding group. Okay. Or any non-membership groups also. All these seem to be your membership groups, the ones you've mentioned. Any non-membership groups? Civil servants or travelers. Okay, good. Okay, so these are all his. Now, when you have all these groups, similarly, we would also have several groups which affect our behavior at any given point of time, say today. Do you experience any conflict between the demands and expectations or norms of different reference groups? What kind of conflicts? Okay, and traveling requires gaming outside a lot. So, different groups will make different demands on your time, your schedule, your sense of commitment, etc. Right? Then what do? क्या आप जीना छोड़ देते हो? जॉब छोड़ देते हो? क्या करें फिर? When you have these conflicting demands made by different reference groups, what do? You manage between them. साफ बात है. So either you would prioritize कि nowadays or for the next 3 months I'll focus on, okay, the civil service exam is coming, so I'll focus on civil servants as my reference group. Focus on studies or classmates as my reference group. Okay, and once I've cleared the mains, I'll go for trekking or something. Are you with me? So you manage, you prioritize, you compartmentalize. Yes or no? So for this thing, I want to be like film stars only in terms of popularity. Not in terms of, say, their family life. Are you with me? But in terms of my career graph, I see myself as a civil servant. Aren't you? So we compartmentalize that this aspect of my life, I want to be influenced by so and so. ठीक है? तो लिख लो. Reference group selection. Heading दे दी? क्या? हाँ, तो लिखो. Reference group selection is a very complex process. Full stop. An individual chooses different reference groups. Write faster. Chooses different reference groups during different phases of his life. Full stop. Even at a particular point of time in one's life, I repeat, even after a particular point of time in one's life, comma, one may choose a number of reference groups for different aspects of his life. Right? सो करियर चाहिए मुझे सिविल सर्वेंट वाला, मॉनेटरी सक्सेस चाहिए इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट जैसी, बॉडी चाहिए मुझे फिल्म स्टार्स जैसी. क्या दिक्कत है? Several times different reference groups may impose conflicting demands on the individual. ठीक? Full stop. The norms and values, the expectations of different reference groups of an individual, may clash with each other. ठीक? You know, oftentimes all of us have been through that phase, what the family expects from us and what our friends expect from us are very clashing kind of expectations. Yes or no? Friends would expect from you that you will do a night out with them and party all day and night and have all kinds of substances, while the family may expect you to be in bed before 7 p.m. and not consume substances and lot of things. तो क्या करते हो? फैमिली छोड़ देते हो या दोस्त छोड़ देते हो? मैनेज करते हैं. Exactly, that's what we do. Full stop. The individual however attempts to manage, prioritize, and compartmentalize these different expectations. ठीक है? Next para. An individual may have several positive reference groups. The term I had introduced you to earlier, we're writing about it now. An individual may have several positive reference groups. Full stop. He aspires to join them. After full stop, he aspires to join them and adopts their norms and values. ठीक है? Full stop. The individual may use some other social groups as a point of reference to develop counter norms. ठीक है ना, full stop. To develop counter norms. Counter norms, meaning whatever they are doing, I will not do. So for example, if for you the class toppers are a positive reference group and the stud bhaiyas are a negative reference group, you will not do what the bhaiyas are doing. So you will say ki bhaiya, these guys used to bunk school, I will not bunk classes. Are you with me? जो वो करते हैं वो तो नहीं करूंगा. ये लोग सिटी स्क्वायर पे खड़े होके स्मोक करते रहते हैं, वो तो मैं नहीं ही करूंगा. Are you with me? So I will not do what they are doing, or we develop counter norms. क्या लिखा है लास्ट बेटा?
Sir, he aspires to join them and adopt their norms and values. The individual may use some other social groups as a point of reference to develop counter.
Full stop. These are negative reference groups which he does not wish to join. Which he does not wish to join. ठीक है? Now give a subheading and tell me also the answer to it. Why? लिखो ना. Why choose non-membership groups as a reference group? Why do we choose non-membership groups as our reference groups? We already have so many membership groups. They provide us with ample norms and values or expectations. Why do we burden ourselves with other expectations of groups of which we are not members? And then also then you undergo anticipatory socialization. Then also there is no guarantee you will be able to join them. You might get alienated from your membership groups and end up as a marginal man. Itta sara siyapa. So why don't we remain content with our membership groups as a reference group? Why do we have non-membership groups as reference groups? ऐसी क्या चुल है कि हम नॉन मेंबरशिप ग्रुप्स को रेफरेंस पॉइंट ऑफ रेफरेंस मानते हैं? बताइए ब्रदर. इट माइट हेल्प अस अचीव आवर गोल्स. बेटी,
Non-membership groups are more praised and valid, for the entire society. They try to aim to be a part of.
okay, so we can say the non-membership groups typically would enjoy some greater prestige in the society. साफ बात है. Why do we want to be like civil servants? Why do we look up to civil servants? Because at whatever station we presently are, we don't have that kind of power or societal dignity or validation that those guys enjoy. So we aspire to become like one. So we mold our behavior as per them. We feel relative deprivation. Absolutely. That these guys have the power, the privilege, the works that we don't have at our present position. तो लिख लो. First, an individual chooses a non-membership group as a reference group because its membership is expected to confer greater power or prestige on the individual. Because its membership is expected to confer greater power or prestige on the individual. ठीक है? Clear? Before I explain the second dimension, let me just introduce you to certain terms. Some societies are called as open social systems or open societies. And then you have very good closed societies or closed systems. What is an open society? Open society is one which permits social mobility, while a closed society is one which does not permit social mobility. Have we heard these terms earlier? Discussed them in class? No? So open society or open social system is one which permits social mobility. Social mobility means what? They allow you to change your station in life. So you may be born at a particular level, but the society permits you to reach another level. Closed systems, on the other hand, do not permit people to change their station in life. So for example, you tell me, the caste system in traditional Indian society is open or closed? Closed. You are not permitted to change your caste. You are born in a particular caste and you die as a member of the same caste group. So it is considered as a classic example of a closed social system. Clear? And your kya naam hai tumhara? Modern industrial society. The class system in modern industrial Western society is open. In other words, you may be born in a poor or a middle class household, but can you become rich? Yes, you can. The society permits it, not only permits, it provides avenues, opportunities, channels to rise up in life. Okay? Clear? You understood these two terms? Now you tell me, non-membership groups are more likely to be chosen as reference groups. In which type of society? Open ya closed? Open ya closed? How many of you think it is in closed societies that non-membership groups are more likely to be chosen as reference groups? And how many of you think it is in open societies that the chance is greater? And you guys, my dear friends, are right. It is in open societies. Why? Because simply the society is providing the opportunity. The society itself is encouraging. In a closed system, the society is saying, you remain where you are. The society is not encouraging you to aspire or to, try to improve your position in a closed system. In an open system, the society itself is saying, yes, you can be better. How? I am giving you these ways. Work hard and you can rise. Okay? Hone your talents, you can rise. Acquire a higher educational degree and you can rise. Are you with me? So, likh lo. Non-membership groups are more likely to be chosen as reference groups. In an open society, that permits social mobility, than in a closed society. ठीक है? Third reason. Before you write, hear me out. Please appreciate, friends, another reason why people are drawn to these non-membership groups as a reference group is because simply we are more acutely aware, each of us is more acutely aware of the norms and values, the expectations, the flip side of life in our membership group or non-membership group. Membership or non-membership? Membership group. Because we belong to those groups, we've spent a considerable time as members of that group, so we are more aware of what it takes, what life is like in that membership group. But we are not very clearly aware about the life in the non-membership group. Are you with me? I'm a teacher. So, teachers for me are a membership group. I am a teacher. I've spent more than a decade as a teacher, a very substantial portion of my life. I have friends who are teachers. Yes or no? I have interactions day in and day out with other teachers. So I am very acutely aware of what the life of a teacher is like, what it takes, what kind of effort a teacher has to put in, what kind of rewards one can expect by putting in whatever kind of effort. Are you with me? But I'm not a film star. So I don't know. And oftentimes, when you don't know about other categories of people, you see the good side or the bad side. You see the good side. Are you with me? So, simply put, friends, things दूर के ढोल सुहावने होते हैं, right? Or grass is always greener on the other side. So I don't know what is, I see the glamour, the money, etc. of film stars. But I don't know the flip side. I don't know, for example, that वो 2 साल तक 2 समोसे नहीं खा सकते, जो I as a teacher can and do every week. Yeah? Or what sacrifices it entails. Are you with me? So that is also one of the reasons we get attracted to these non-membership groups and adopt them as reference groups. ठीक है? तो लिखो. इसीलिए आधी जनता भाग जाती है बॉम्बे फिल्म स्टार बनने, है ना? लिखो. An individual is typically acutely aware. Is acutely aware, acutely nahi, acutely, of the norms and values demands and expectations of his membership groups. And not those of the non-membership groups. Full stop. So, the non-membership groups may appear more attractive from the outside than what they really are. ठीक है? Last point. In any group, friends, before you write, hear me out. I have to always continuously make that request. In any group, do all the members of a group enjoy an equal position? Yes or no? No, clearly not. Not in any group. In your family, do you have a clear hierarchy of sorts? Yes, you do. Even in a group of friends, is there a hierarchy there? Yeah? Same class and same circle and same course. Is there a hierarchy of sorts? You bet there is. In every group, there is a certain group dynamics that certain persons are or become more important than others. Okay? It so happens. So for example, let us say we are back to our college days, membership group. Okay? We are how many boys or girls in a typical group, college life? 5, 7. Okay? So say there is one guy in that group, he is A. Okay? He is who? He is the John of the group. Yeah? He is like the the center of attraction, the life of the group. Right? It is around him that the group life revolves. होता है एक ऐसा बंदा? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, I think that was just a very vocal agreement. है ना? ठीक है. And then you have some other persons, B and C, who are like, his closest buddies and his trusted aides, if I may call them. Yeah? So they are like very thick, these guys. But clearly A has somewhat of a leadership position or a dominant position. But these guys are in his, close circle of, they enjoy the confidence of the group leader, as it were. ठीक है? And then you have these guys, D and E, who are also respectable members of the group, but not as vital as A, B or C. And then say you have F, ठीक है, who's like आया तो आया, नहीं आया तो नहीं आया. Yes or no? कोई नहीं पूछ रहा. आएगा तो ठीक है, इसको साथ ले चलेंगे कि कोके कोले ले आएगा or something of the sort, है ना? और he is slightly rich, so चलो इससे पैसे निकलवा के हम कैंटीन में कुछ खा लेंगे. Something of the sort. So, we just keep him for convenience sake in this thing. होता है? Who amongst them is more likely to get attracted to a non-membership group as a reference group? Let's take the extremes. A or F? F. Clearly. है ना? जिसको अपने ग्रुप में इज्जत नहीं मिली, जिसको अपने ग्रुप में, membership ग्रुप में satisfaction नहीं मिली, he is more likely to get attracted to non-membership groups as कि क्या पता वहां इज्जत मिल जाए, वहां प्यार मिल जाए. ठीक है? As a reference group. तो लिख लो. Usually, it is the social isolates who are not satisfied with the position assigned to them, within their membership groups, who are more likely to use non-membership groups as a reference group. ठीक? A quick throwback to our college days. Where were we? How many of us were A? The Jan of the group. How many of just A's, raise your hands if you please. A's तो चौड़ में करेंगे. How many of us were F's? Okay, so yeah, why not? ठीक है. चलिए, ठीक है. So with that is the reference group theory, and then we now take a short break and then we recommence. Move on to the next topic. Friends, please settle down. Gulp it quickly. have it, it's okay, but quickly. Moving on to the next topic, the last topic under Merton, which is his theory of deviance. Merton's theory of conformity and deviance. But before we begin with Merton's theory of deviance, let us try to appreciate or develop a general understanding of what is deviance. Okay? Forget sociology for a bit, forget Merton for a bit. In normal English language, what do you mean by the word deviant or deviance? You've heard it in normal English. In what context, what does it seem to mean? Beti? भटक जाना एक मार्ग से, or to deviate. Okay, yes. That is to deviate. Far or distant. I'm sorry, but that is not what it is. Away from where we are supposed to be. Okay, that is slightly better. Sorry? Not following the intended path. Intended like what? I'm not doing what I intend to do. That's what you're saying. More like the expected path. Expected by who? The society. Brother? Normal se kuch alag. And if I dare use the word abnormal, that which is abnormal is deviant, blunt but perhaps quite on the mark. So deviances are abnormalities in that sense. Yes, it is all of this. Aur bataiye? Yeah. It's a discourse. With due respect, you have possibly misunderstood the meaning of the word discourse. It's not like, away from the course, if that's your this thing. Okay. So that would be a wrong usage, with due respect. Mythology. Pathology. Acha. Deviance is a pathology, or it's bluntly, even more bluntly, it's an illness. Some sort of an illness. We are using stronger and stronger phrases. Yeah. Not following the rules or the laws of the society. That's quite what it is. Not following the rules or laws of the society, or not doing what the society expects you to do. Yes. So this is what deviance is, friends. All of that what we have discussed, this is really the generic English understanding of deviance, also somewhat or quite close to the sociological meaning of the term deviance. So every society has some clearly or well defined rules and regulations. There are some clearly laid down norms that the society expects its members to follow. Not following the norms laid down by the society is deviance. Right? I'll dictate also somewhere, or do you want to make running notes? That will be faster. Spoon feeding. ठीक है, I will, grudgingly, but I will. So, we've developed only a broad understanding of what deviance is. Any deviation from or digression from or non-conformity to the norms of the society we have discussed is deviance. But tell me, are all acts which do not conform to the norms or expectations of the society deviant? For example, what do you think? Like, if somebody is far beyond the what the average member of the society is expected to do. Say, those who lay down their life for the country, revolutionaries. Okay, so the average guy is not, you don't expect the average guy to lay down his life for the country, but then some do. Are they deviant or brilliant scientists who make, breakthrough kind of discoveries? Are these guys deviants? Yes or no? What's your intuitive this thing? Huh? It's not a prelims question. So, are they deviant or not? Very strictly speaking, they are. Okay? Very, very strictly speaking, if you consider any digression from the norms of the society to be deviance, then these are also deviant. But, and there is a but. Conventionally, how the word deviance has a negative connotation. It has a negative connotation. So those, which the society does not appreciate, those are regarded as deviances. Revolutionaries, brilliant scientists, they may be, out of the ordinary or away from the normal, but they are not regarded as deviants in a narrower sense of the term, because, or the conventional sense of the term, because they are celebrated by the society, they are rewarded by the society. Are you with me? I'll make you write all of this. Thirdly, those acts which are, not in conformity with the societal norms. What about any digression? Will that constitute a deviance? Or not? Let us say. So you have norms governing dress. So you would expect a male middle-aged teacher to wear a certain kind of dress in the classroom, which is, say, formal clothing like kurta pajama, shirt pant. If tomorrow a middle-aged male teacher wears jeans and shirt, will you call him a deviant? Will he be regarded as a deviant by the society? Tell me, what's your gut feel, yeah? Is that, will you label that person as a deviant? Will the society brand him as a deviant? Or not? No. If that male middle-aged teacher wears t-shirt and jeans, will that be deviance? Yes or no? No. If he wears a tight body-hugging t-shirt, bright yellow in color, and jeans, will that be deviant? Yes? Quite likely. And if he wears women's clothing, will that be deviance? Clearly that will be. So why is that one infringement of social norms you regard as deviance, and another infringement of social norms, say when he's wearing t-shirt and jeans, that you do not regard as deviance? दोनों ही नॉर्म्स का उल्लंघन है, तो क्यों एक को हम deviance मानते हैं और दूसरी को नहीं मानते? Intuitively, it's all intuitive. Tell me, what's your intuitive answer? Why is it that you say he's a deviant if he wears women's clothing? He's not a deviant if he's wearing, say, a collar wali t-shirt and jeans. One is socially accepted, the other is not. It has to be extremes. So women's clothing is like really crossing a certain line, it's an extreme. Okay, and if the teacher, male middle-aged teacher, wears shorts and t-shirt, will that be deviant? हाँ, in generally बात हो रही है. We're not talking specifics here. हाँ? Will that be deviance? Why? You should be quite accustomed to seeing middle-aged men, say your elder brothers, your fathers, etc., in shorts. But again, it is not acceptable. Simply put, friends, what I am trying to drive your attention to is that any infraction, any non-conformity to social norms is not deviance. Is not deviance. Why? Because a lot of such infractions or non-conformities the society tolerates. The society simply tolerates. So, किसी दिन टी-शर्ट और जीन्स में आ गया टीचर, तो बच्चे बर्दाश्त कर लेते हैं कि चलता है, थोड़ी जवानी सूझ रही है, चलता है ना? It is okay. So the society will let go, will let it pass. What is deviance is that which elicits a negative response from the society, or elicits what we may say a punishment from the society. Are you with me? So those acts of an individual which are negatively sanctioned or punished by the society constitute deviance. Beyond a certain point, the tolerance limits of the society are violated. Some non-conformity the society tolerates or accepts. Are you with me? तो लिख लो. Deviance refers to those acts which do not conform to the norms and expectations of the society. Comma, exceed the tolerance limits of the society. And invite negative sanctions. Invite negative sanctions. ठीक है? Full stop. Next para. A broad understanding of deviance may include various acts that do not conform to the norms and expectations of the society. Dash. Those acts which are positively sanctioned or rewarded by the society, comma, those acts that are negatively sanctioned or punished by the society, I repeat, those acts which are positively sanctioned or rewarded by the society, comma, those acts which are negatively sanctioned or punished by the society, and those acts which are not sanctioned by the society, meaning ignored by the society, which are ignored by the society. Do we have examples of all three types? Positively sanctioned acts, brilliant scientists, revolutionaries, etc. They are rewarded by the society, they are hailed by the society, celebrated, put on a pedestal by the society. Negative acts, those which we typically would classify as deviant behavior, negatively sanctioned. And third would be those which are ignored. Like we said, somebody who's just about, infringing some social norms, right? But does not elicit any societal response. Okay? However, next para karke likh lo. However, Marshall Clinard suggests that the term deviance should be reserved for those acts which are disapproved and beyond the tolerance limits of the society. Disapproved and beyond the tolerance limits of the society. Matlab the society punishes them in some manner. Are you with me? Clear? Full stop. Some of the popular forms of deviance. Popular nahi, it's not a good word to use. Some of the popularly studied forms of deviance बताओ कोई, फिर लिखेंगे आगे. Crime, absolutely. Or drug addiction, wonderful. Yeah? Prostitution or terrorism. Sorry? Yeah, you all giving me different types of crimes, which are, crime is like a superset. Likhiye, some of the popularly studied forms of deviance include crime, homosexuality, drug addiction, juvenile delinquency, and alcoholism. We understand this term. Have we come across this term earlier in our sociology class? Yeah. Basically crimes by those below 18 or below the legally permissible age for punishment. है ना? And alcoholism. What do you understand by alcoholism? Same as alcohol consumption? No, sorry, that's not alcoholism. It's not like crimes done under the influence of alcohol. Having alcohol in a very uncontrolled kind of a way. Hai na? So having a couple of this thing a day would possibly not be alcoholism. Okay? But if you like get up in the morning and first thing you're having is like a couple of drinks and then you are starting with your day and it interferes with your normal functioning, etc., that would be alcoholism. Kitne? 100? ये क्या है? अच्छा, नहीं तो उसका ये कोई इंग्लिश वर्ड था? अच्छा, I haven't heard. ठीक है. Salt and topper, he just said something like that. Okay. हाँ, देवदास टाइप. ठीक है. ठीक है. So these are some popularly studied forms of deviance. अच्छा, अब एक दो चीजें बताओ before we proceed. This concept of deviance, or what is regarded as deviance, is it the same for all societies or does it vary from society to society? क्यों वेरी? जो गलत है वो गलत है, चाहे यहां हो या वहां हो. Why should it vary? Perfect. Different societies have different norms. So what constitutes a violation of societal norms would also vary from society to society. So what is regarded as deviance in Indian society may be quite permissible in American society. Yes or no? For example, premarital sex. How would it be regarded in Indian society? As deviant behavior. Unacceptable. Yes or no? But in American culture, it is actually quite institutionalized. Are you with me? So it is expected and accepted. Clear? Women smoking in public. In Indian society, deviant. And in, say, American society, more acceptable. Yes or no? So deviance is culture specific, yeah, society specific. Clearly. लिख लो बेशक. Deviance varies from society to society, as it is culture specific, right? या ऐसे लिख लो, what is regarded as deviance varies from society. What is regarded as लिख लो शुरू में, वो वाला डाल के लिख लो, ठीक है, ये वाला डाल के, ठीक है. What is regarded as deviance varies from society to society, as it is culture specific. दूसरी बात मुझे ये बताओ, within a given society, what is considered as deviance? Does it remain same for all times to come or does it change? क्यों? हमारे समाज में तो जो गलत है तो वो गलत है ना. Why should that change? Wonderful. साफ बात है, even for a given society, what is considered as deviant will change with the passage of time, as social norms are also for a given society are also evolving. Yes or no? So what may not be acceptable today may become acceptable tomorrow. What was not acceptable yesterday may have become acceptable today. For example, in Indian society, boys and girls sitting next to each other in a classroom situation, is it deviant or acceptable in today's India? Acceptable. And say 150 years back, possibly not accepted. Boys and girls doing friendship, is it acceptable or deviant behavior in contemporary India? Quite acceptable. 150 years back, possibly wasn't. Are you with me? So what is regarded as deviance for a given society also changes with time as the societal norms evolve or change. लिख लो. Point is, this concept of deviance is not set in stone. It varies from society to society and also varies within a given society. ठीक? लिख लो खुद. इतना क्या इससे लिख रहे हो? हाफ अ सेंटेंस लिखना है. मे आई? नाउ यू टेल मी. ठीक है, And this is a slightly, I expect you to like rack your brains a bit more on this particular question that I pose to you now. Dhanyavad bhaiya. Is deviance a numbers thing? Is it a numbers thing? In other words, whatever a small fraction of the population does, which others are not doing, is deviance. Is that a correct thing? That whatever is being done by few persons and not the bulk of the population is deviance. Soch ke batao, is that a correct understanding or not? Why are you saying no? Raise your hands and explain. Okay, any examples that you can come up with that the majority or the bulk of the population is not doing, only some are doing and is acceptable? Okay, yes, brother? Sorry? Riding horses, wonderful. So only a small fraction of the population is possibly riding horses, but it's not regarded as deviant. I couldn't have come up with a better example. Really, that's so apt. Yeah.
So like it may happen in society that majority of people are doing somewhat deviant.
He is now talking of another dimension altogether. We'll come to that in a bit. Hold that thought. We'll come to it. But firstly, let's be very clear. It's not a numbers thing, friends. Intuitively, it does seem कि what some are doing and most are not doing, that is deviant, but it's really not. You take his wonderful example of riding horses. Few persons in a population ride horses. Are you with me? But they're not regarded as deviant. Fewer persons in any population, say Indian population, would have blue or grey colored eyes. Bulk will have black or brown colored eyes. But do we regard them as deviant? No. Are you with me? Few persons are in Indian society are Parsis or have a different mode of worship. Are you with me? Do we regard them as deviant? Or Jains for that matter? Yes or no? Have some different religious beliefs. Do we regard them as deviant? No. We simply regard them as different in a certain manner. Say their religious beliefs, say their eye color, say their hobbies, and so on and so forth. So any difference from the majority does not constitute a deviance. Okay? Now our brother here makes a very interesting point. He says it may so happen that what the majority is doing, or most of the people, lot of people are doing, may be regarded as deviant. Can that also happen? कि जो सब कर रहे हैं और उसी को deviant माना जाता है. हाँ. नहीं, rest of the world we are not concerned about. We are concerned about a given society. In a society, can something that a lot of people, bulk of the population or a large number of people are doing, can that be deviant? So are they considered deviants, those who throw garbage on streets? I doubt. Beti? Circumferencing matlab outsiders. I'm not concerned about outsiders. Let's put it this way. But not for theirs. Okay. So friends, it's not a numbers thing. Both cases, a minority or a fraction of the population may be doing it, but it may be acceptable, not regarded as deviant like we just discussed. Or a lot of people may be doing something and it is not considered as deviant. For example, after a certain age, almost all male members of the society watch porn. But is it regarded as deviant behavior? Yes, it is. Yes or no? Simply, deviance क्या है? So what defines deviance? Societal reaction. अगर society कहे ना, हो, देखो क्या कर रहा है, that is deviance. So सब देखते हैं, but अगर आप के फोन में दिखेगी क्या कहेंगे? हो, देखो क्या कर रहा है. Yes or no? Peeing in the pool. Very common. Every second person has done it. Yes or no? Can you just call somebody from the outside, please? एक बात बताइए, नहीं एक बात guys, we are back in action. So point is, what constitutes deviance is determined by the societal reaction or societal admonishment. The society should be somewhat punish or it should elicit a negative response from the society, and that is what defines or identifies what is deviance in a given society. ठीक है, अब चलते हैं. Online friends, please confirm that you can hear me by typing yes. The battery had finished, so I've changed the cells. Yes, thank you. So you've not missed on anything. Now let us try to appreciate why. ये जो deviant behavior होता है, ये deviant लोग क्यों करते हैं? Why do people engage in such gross acts, if I may use some strong language? Become rapists, homosexuals, criminals, drug addicts, prostitutes, alcoholics, murderers, और न जाने क्या क्या. Why? ये गंदे काम लोग क्यों करते हैं जो समाज को नहीं पसंद? अभी तो हमने पढ़ा कि वी ऑल सीक कंटिन्यूअस वैलिडेशन फ्रॉम द सोसाइटी. हाँ, एंड व्हाट आर दीज गाइज डूइंग? नॉट कंफर्मिंग टू द नॉर्म्स एंड एक्सपेक्टेशंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी, रिसीविंग ब्रिकबैट्स फ्रॉम द सोसाइटी. जूते ही तो पड़ते हैं डिवियंस करके. फिर हम क्यों करते हैं? बताओ डिवियंट्स. How do you explain deviance? Let us try to understand why do some people engage in deviant behavior. Yes. And when we talk of it, we don't think of things like peeing in the pool. We think of the more commonly understood forms of deviance, such as homosexuality or crime or drug addiction and the like. Yeah. He's saying they are not completely satisfied or in agreement with the societal norms. Which one amongst us is there? इसका मतलब ये थोड़ी ना कि हम होमोसेक्सुअल बन जाएं या रेपिस्ट बन जाएं या चोर बन जाएं या मर्डरर बन जाएं या ड्रग एडिक्ट बन जाएं. They feel hollowness within. हाँ, हाँ brother. byproduct of individualism. So, a very heightened sense of individualism कि मेरी मर्जी, मैं चाहे ये करूं, मैं चाहे वो करूं, मेरी मर्जी, है ना? I care a damn about the society. Heightened individualism. Nice. So साफ बात है, when people do what deviants do, okay, they don't expect to get caught. Okay, they are counting on their luck कि किसी को पता नहीं लगेगा. तो क्या ही दिक्कत है. And I'll be richer. मैंने चोरी कर ली, पकड़ा नहीं गया, I am richer. मैंने homosexuality कर ली, पकड़ा नहीं गया, I get some sexual kick out of it. Yeah, बेटी. Wow, that's very poetic, but like, I want to. He's saying when they're trying to be a part of the society, but society is not becoming a part of them. Huh? They are not accepted by the society, so they also reject the society. Huh? Of sorts. Brother? Don't give me these kitabi sociological explanations, those I will give you. Yeah. Huh. वो मतलब जेकिल एंड हाइड टाइप का है ना, कि मतलब वी हैव एन ऑल्टर ईगो. ये उस फ्रॉड का कॉन्सेप्ट है. Okay, so there are certain psychological explanations he's offering, but slightly half-baked. हाँ बेटी. It's a stress buster. You're saying deviance is a stress buster. तो समाज बहुत प्रेशर्स और स्ट्रेसेस डालता है हम पे, और हम कहते हैं यार हम तो अपना एंजॉय करेंगे थोड़ा चोरी चकारी मर्डर शर्डर करके. हाँ, it's addictive. Very importantly, deviance is very addictive. Huh? Seems coming from a lot of personal experience. बेटे. हाँ. So bhaiya, so there are deviant persons you look up to, and that is what propels you to. Huh? You have examples. Beti? Lack of proper socialization. So they have not received, मम्मी की मार या पापा की चप्पल sufficiently. कहते ना, you spare the rod and spoil the child. So they have not been disciplined. Are you suggesting that? So they have not been told that it's wrong to do certain things. Like you would see a lot of slum children into things, stuff like drug addiction and, yeah? Because that's what they grow up around and they take it as accepted. Beti? People are talking about me. People know me. So it's my quick path to fame. Social validation. Brother?
When the society represses the individual too much, maybe there may be economic causes also, economic repression also, so that the individual might try to find a way out of it, and he may do things which are very misleading.
So log phoot padte hain is what you are suggesting. A lot of repressed anger comes out in the form of deviant behavior. Lack of proper role models. Brother? Don't use such difficult language. Yeah? But he's saying when a person doesn't have adequate tension management systems. ठीक है? So you're suggesting, say, he doesn't have a family to fall back on, or a close circle of friends. Brother? Legalistic philosophy. Realistic philosophy. Nihilistic philosophy. You simple bhasha na. Consider us very laymen. We are all laymen. कि क्या ही है, छोटा सा जीवन है, ये भी एफिमेरल सा है, 2 पल का जीना है ना, क्या ही मतलब है. सो माइट एज वेल हैव ऑल द फन दैट यू कैन वाइल वी आर हियर. कुछ भी गलत नहीं है ना. हेडोनिस्टिक एंड बिल्कुल ठीक है. अ लॉट ऑफ explanations or theories of deviance which were popular, okay, when Merton was writing. Before we come to Merton, there were these physiological explanations of deviance, physiological theories or explanations of deviance, which say what? Basically, they say that deviance is an outcome of some sort of a physiological or biological anomaly in a person. You know, there was this guy called Lombroso. Okay, he was an Italian, I think, criminologist. He studied crime. So his explanation was that deviants are, or criminals particularly, you know, they are born. Some people are born with criminal traits. Are you with me? And those criminal traits also have an outwardly expression. So these people who have a criminal innate or inborn criminal tendency, they almost look different. How do they look? They have big ears. They have, you know, a broader than normal nose. Chodi chodi naak wale log. Oftentimes they have an extra body part, like an extra nipple or an extra finger, extra toe. ऐसा कुछ. ठीक है? So it is some sort of a biological, physiological anomaly which makes certain people more predisposed to commit crime. You may have heard this phrase, you know, born criminal. That so and so is a born criminal. This is that mindset. कि कुछ इंसान क्रिमिनल प्रवृत्ति के साथ पैदा होते हैं. And that is due to certain physiological or biological. You know, there is in fact this, there was at some point of time a lot of research done on identifying the criminal gene. Some people are born with a criminal gene, Gene. Okay, so it's in your genetic makeup, something that makes you predisposed to crime. कैसी लगी? Satisfactory or extremely dissatisfactory? It is that way. So nowadays, this kind of a theory is rejected by and large as outdated, and not just outdated, frankly, outright racist. Why? Because these certain physical traits that scientists, so-called, like Lombroso, would identified in criminals, they were associated with particular racial minority groups. You know, in a white-dominated society, blacks tended to have like longer ears or a broader nose. Are you with me? So it was because of their preconceived notions that blacks are criminals that they came up with these theories. But आज के दिन इनको तवज्जो नहीं देते. तवज्जो किनको देते हैं till date, okay, and were popular during Merton's times as well, are psychological theories of deviance. So psychological theories contend, that you basically need to identify how the criminal psyche is different from that of the law-abiding citizen. Are you with me? So there's something in the psychological makeup which makes certain people do things which the society doesn't accept or engage in deviant behavior. Lot of these psychological theories particularly explain deviant behavior in terms of childhood trauma. That some traumatic experiences during childhood which remain unexpressed, which were repressed, okay, they found expression later on in adult life as deviant behavior. Are you with me? You get it broadly. For example, say that criminal, he, as a child, he was sexually abused. And that kept on, that remained pent up or like bottled inside him for too long. And when he grew up, he became a child molester. Or he became a rapist or something of the sort. Or sex offender. समझ रहे हो आप? So some sort of childhood trauma finding expression in later life as deviant behavior. Or somebody had a very cold father or a distant, unloving mother. Are you with me? Because of which later on in life they became like, that person became women hating and so on and so forth. Are you with me? कैसी लगी? These are still quite popular. They still enjoy very wide currency. A lot of times they are offered. Lot of these Hollywood movies that you see on psychos, and they have many, they have this kind of a storyline. है ना? And even in India we have started imitating this. Merton categorically rejected all these kind of physiological or psychological explanations of deviance. And offered instead a sociological explanation or theory of deviance. According to Merton friends, deviance is a result of the structure and culture of the society. Deviance is a product of the structure and the culture of the society. Merton analyzes deviance in American society, specifically American society, and what he says that in the society there are certain culturally approved goals. Now, what are the culturally approved goals in American society? Culturally approved goals means the society tells its members, American society tells its members that this is what you should strive for. So what is the culturally approved goal in American society? What does the society tell Americans? American society tell Americans, what should you be striving for? Financial success, wealth accumulation, becoming rich. That is a culturally approved goal in American society. That you should try to become rich and famous, accumulate a lot of wealth. It is a materialist culture. And so the culturally approved goal is wealth accumulation or financial success. ठीक? अमीर बनना. अमेरिकन समाज, अमेरिकन कल्चर अपने लोगों को कहता है कि क्या करो? Strive to become rich. That's a worthy, culturally approved goal. There are also some institutionalized means that the society provides its members to achieve the culturally approved goals. Institutionalized means. I'll just write it cleaner, in a slightly more neat and clean handwriting. Institutionalized means matlab, so the ways provided by, approved by the society to achieve the culturally approved goals. In other words, society tells the Americans, how should you become rich? How? Batao. Clear? But there's always a but. There is a mismatch between the goals and the means. There is a mismatch. What Merton says that American society is in a state of anomy. His anomy is conceptualized somewhat differently from Durkheim's understanding of anomy. In American society and culture, what is emphasized more? The goals or the means? The goals are more emphasized upon and the means are not so much emphasized upon. Are you with me? Also appreciate, friends, that people are placed in different positions in the social structure. Different people are placed in different positions in the social structure. Meaning what? Somebody is filthy rich. Somebody is rich. Somebody is upper middle class. Somebody is middle class. Somebody is lower middle class. And so on and so forth. Somebody is in the working class, say a skilled worker. Somebody is an unskilled worker. Somebody is jobless and poor and homeless. People are occupying different positions in the social structure. ठीक है? All the people have internalized the culturally approved goals. So everybody is taught or everybody is encouraged by American society to pursue the American dream. That no matter where you are from, you should strive to make it big in life. You should try to become rich. But all people do not have equal opportunity to become rich. Yes or no? Or all people do not have equal access to the institutionalized means. Who does not have access to the institutionalized means? The rich or the poor? The poor, the working class. Simply, higher education in America, one of the very important approved ways to become rich, is not affordable for many Americans, particularly those in the working class. Are you with me? So, many Americans, they experience a strain. They experience a strain. Because the society continuously tells them, become rich, but they don't have access to the means to become rich. Okay? So depending on their position in the social structure, people respond differently. Are you with me? लिख लो थोड़ा. May I dictate? Briefly, okay, very briefly. Merton, in quotation marks, Social Structure and Anomy, quotes close, that's the name of his work. Merton in Social Structure and Anomy considers that deviant behavior is a result of the structure and culture of the society. ठीक, full stop. In American society, a situation of anomy is prevalent. Full stop. Anomy means that there is a discrepancy या gap between the culturally approved goals and the institutionalized means available to achieve them. Full stop. Due to continuous societal pressure, to achieve financial success, many Americans experience a strain इसकी थ्योरी को स्ट्रेन थ्योरी भी कहते हैं इसलिए. ठीक है, फुल स्टॉप. Based on their position in the social structure, people respond differently to the situation of anomy. So how may people respond? In different ways. One way they can respond is conformity. Conformists are who? Those who try to achieve the culturally approved goals using the institutionalized means. In other words, they try to become rich through the suggested path. Hard work, higher education, entrepreneurship, etc. ठीक है? They are conformists. The other four responses are deviant behaviors. The first way people can respond to this situation is through conformity, meaning they accept both the societally provided goals and the means. ठीक है? The सीधा रास्ता. Another possible response is what is termed as innovation. Innovators are who? They are those who try to achieve the culturally approved goals but do not adhere to the institutionalized means. So they adopt other means not approved by the society. Okay? For example, thieves. What are they trying to do? They're also trying to become rich, but through means which are not approved by the society. Yes or no? Clear? Members of which class are likely to innovate? And don't consider innovation here in the normal English sense of the term, as in, scientific innovations, etc. I mean those who innovate in terms of following some non-approved, different ways to achieve the culturally approved goals. The lower class, absolutely. So members of the lower class are more likely to innovate. Why? Simply because they do not have equal access to the institutionalized means. So they'll have to try to get rich through other ways. ठीक है? A third possible response. Am I going too fast? No. Too slow? The third possible response is ritualism. Ritualists are who? They are those who follow the institutionalized means but have given up on the culturally approved goals. Given up on the culturally approved goals. This behavior makes no sense at all. No? Means, after all, are means to an end. What is the end? The end is to achieve the goal. And the means are a way to achieve that goal. So if you have given up on the goal, why should you follow the means? Simply, these people have very strongly internalized, okay, the means. Then why have they given up on the goals? Because they are often stuck in dead-end kind of jobs, where there is no hope of, making it big in life. So, and that is why it is called ritualism. They are following the means like a ritual. Like a ritual, matlab without much application of mind. Like we say, we brush our teeth, it's a daily ritual. बहुत सोचते नहीं है ना कि दांत साफ होने हैं, करते हैं क्योंकि करना है. We just do it in very mechanically on a daily basis. Are you with me? Likewise, ritualists, they just follow the means even as they have given up on any hopes of making it big in life. Which class? Members of the lower middle class. Lower middle class are more likely to be ritualists. For example, low-level bureaucrats. Okay, they are stuck in dead-end jobs, but they are very particular about following the proper methods, etc. In India, for example, a better example from an Indian context would be, say, primary school teachers in government schools. Are you with me? Because there's not much you can do as a primary school teacher, but then there are many primary school teachers who are very committed to the task at hand. They're very particular. Have you seen serials like Wagle Ki Duniya? There, Wagle ji is a classic example of a Have you seen? Hardly any of you. Have you seen this Shah Rukh Khan movie where he has a double role, Suri ji? Rab ne bana di jodi. There the Lallu Shah Rukh Khan. He is a ritualist. Yeah, so very lower middle class kind of a position one holds. But then they are very, very particular about being on time and doing the right thing, etc. Are you with me? Why? Because they enjoy a certain, though limited amount of respect in society, which is very dear to them. Right? So they are very particular about doing the right thing. Are you with me? You get the picture? Watch some movies, otherwise it's difficult. Another possible response is retreatism. I hope it's visible. Time, we should wrap up ASAP. Retreatism. That's just an R. Gone Ori. R-E-T-R-E-A-T-I-S-M. Retreatists are who? They are those. What does the word retreat in English mean? To step back. Literally it means to step back. Right? So retreatists are who? Those who have kind of taken a step back from the society. These are the guys who had internalized both the means and the goals. They tried to achieve success through the conventional or the prescribed means, but failed. Having failed, they give up on both the goals and the means. So these guys literally drop out of the society. They are the dropouts from the society. Those who become drug addicts, alcoholics, wayward. Are you with me? Sorry? Possibly that too. That is one of the options people do in such situation. Okay? Clear? They internalize both goals and means, tried to achieve success through conventional means, failed. Having failed, they gave up on both the goals and the means. And become drug addicts and alcoholics, etc. Members of which class are more likely to be predisposed to this thing? Retreatism. Middle. Upper class. Extremely poor. Koi bach gayi? All classes. This is a class free kind of an option. People from across classes. ठीक है, नशेड़ी गंजेड़ी कोई भी बन सकता है across the board. And बनते भी हैं, वाकई बनते हैं. ठीक है. The last response is rebellion. Rebellion. Rebels are who? They are those who reject both the culturally approved goals and the institutionalized means and replace them with their own new goals and new means. A classic example would be terrorist organizations. In the Indian context, say Naxalites. They reject the societally approved goals and means. समझ रहे आप? They say हमें नहीं बनना प्रधानमंत्री या MP, MLA and that too through the societally prescribed means of winning elections, etc. हमें क्या करना है? एक जातीय सरकार या पीपल्स गवर्नमेंट बनाना है एंड थ्रू वायलेंट मीन्स और ओवरथ्रो ऑफ दी एंटागनिस्टिक क्लासेस. आर यू विद मी? इन लोगों को अपनी नई ही दुनिया बनानी होती है. ठीक है? These are the 5 responses. And before we leave, just tell me a few things. Which is the most common response in society? It is conformity. Most people are conformists. Which is the most common response amongst the lower class? Which is the most common response amongst the lower class? Conformity. बिटिया सब गरीब चोर नहीं होते, ठीक है, कुछ होते हैं. अधिकतम गरीब अपनी एक सच्ची ईमानदार रोजी रोटी करके अपने जीवन गुजारने की चेष्टा करते हैं. ठीक है. सो व्हेन वी राइट हियर लोअर क्लास, इट मीन्स मेंबर्स ऑफ द लोअर क्लास आर मोर लाइकली टू इनोवेट. इट डजंट मीन ऑल मेंबर्स और मोस्ट मेंबर्स ऑफ द लोअर क्लास इनोवेट. क्लियर? बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद फॉर योर loads of patience that you've shown today. Thank you.